Russian origin metals. Let's understand the implications of this. Amit Dixit is an analyst with ICICI Securities and now joins in. Amit, thanks so much for taking time out. Given that we have seen metal prices on the rise now, with the fact that there's this news of the LME banning the Russian origin metals, how are you looking at the implications of this move?
Yeah, hi. So, first of all, this is not very new phenomenon. We have seen this happening ever since, back 2018 when the Russian origin aluminium was banned, and the aluminium prices went up 10% back in 2018. Now, coming to the current event, yes, definitely Russia, as we know, it's a major supplier of aluminium, and not only aluminium but also nickel and copper of Russian origin have also been banned, and therefore this has implication for all the three metals. In particular, I would say that here nickel and aluminium matter the most, and therefore we have seen aluminium prices going up this morning, and along with that, aluminium stocks. However, it is imperative to just delve into the finer details because earlier also there were carve outs, and I would expect that the similar thing to happen now as well. But it will take little bit of time. So I would say that the current rally that we have seen in the aluminium and all the related aluminium stocks might be a little bit fleeting from that perspective.
So, would you say that this is looking like the start of a commodity upcycle, an elongated one, or would you say that this is at best a short-term uptick that one is seeing?
No, so this is a very short phenomenon. See, typically you will find that based on such a knee-jerk reaction or based on such news that actually that actually results in knee-jerk reaction, we have seen that the impact is pretty short term. However, talking about the commodities upcycle, if you look at it, the deflation only can aid it. Otherwise, the concerns inflation that we have at the current moment uh, and various other geopolitical tensions have always been adverse to the LME prices. However, there would be mornings like this when you will find that suddenly because of certain policy decisions, aluminium or nickel or for that matter copper would rise.
Amit, historically we've seen, and I'll just draw everyone's attention to this one simple fact, which is that Russian oil was off the market because of sanctions, but there were a lot of ways in which Russia was able to sell. When the Russian oil was supposed to go off the market, everyone thought that crude will just move to triple digit from double digit, but that is not the reality. Do you think a similar factor could be at play when it comes to metal prices? Yes, Russian production metals may be off the market, but there are different ways in which they can sell to others.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what I mentioned in the beginning of the show that in last time also we have seen there were carve outs, and at the end of the day, nothing really mattered. So, if you recall in 2018, actually, aluminum prices went up by 10% in one single day. But if you look at the reaction now, it is relatively muted. So yeah, so I would tend to agree that what happens that at the end of the day, world needs aluminium, world needs copper, world needs nickel. And nobody can afford prices going up just because of policy decisions by one or two major countries. So of course, I would in fact expect that there would be carve outs. There would be ways and means by which you would find that the actual impact would be far lower than what people are expecting currently.
Price point, affordability becomes a challenge. Copper at 9,000 plus, aluminum prices going through the roof. At what point in time affordability would start hitting back, and there could be a pushback from commodity consumers?
No, see, it depends on where the demand side is. Now, currently, what we believe and what we see that demand is pretty weak around the world. So, in fact, China, as we know, it's not the same China as it was 10 years back, maybe. So China is not supporting, and the moment your demand is weak, you find a lot of resistance from the customer. So therefore, aluminium at 2,600 plus, copper at 9,000 plus, I would be surprised if it sustains here for a long period of time. That's what I said. I see it as a pretty short-term impact.
How do you think the steel cycle is likely to move? Because one tailwind for the steel sector is international coal prices have come down. Second tailwind for the steel sector is that Indian demand of late has been very strong. Third, well, China is no longer China, but China is much better than what everyone thought, let's say 6 months ago or 1 year ago.
No, so steel we are quite bullish on the steel, and not because of China, but because of the fact that in India itself there is ample scope of domestic consumption. Now, what we are looking at, what people are looking at, is capacities coming on board through FY 25. However, the capacities are staggered, and therefore the overall impact can but the overall capacity surplus or glut that people are expecting would be far lower. Then the second point here is that if you look at India, yeah, the we have seen for the first time that we had 3 years of double-digit consumption growth, and we expect consumption to be around 8.5 to 9% in near term, and therefore, if you see the Indian steel consumption by FY 32 would double of what it was in FY 23. So clearly, you need capacities, and over and above that, the people are coming up with flat capacity. We have not seen substantial long steel announcements, and in India, the consumption is more on longs because of the infrastructure push. So therefore, stocks like JSPL, who that are more favorably placed on long side, stocks like Sham Metals, for example, they are likely to benefit more. Steel cycle has become very, very local, I would say, ever since COVID has disrupted the supply chain. And in India, the issue that we had with the fact that coking coal prices were up, and the domestic steel prices were down, therefore spreads were pushed. So spreads also have found a little bit of respite. So if you have spreads getting better, you have ample scope of increasing volumes. I think steel is here to stay.
Okay, good to have you, Amit, on board. Thanks very much for spelling out all that's going on within the metal space and what the implications are of the latest news as well.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.